how to sell a fight. Absolutely, both of them, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. They know what they're doing. They know how to sell a fight, and everyone's talking about it. So job done. You know, I seen a thing that there was 120,000 people in the queue for tickets. So if that's the case, then phenomenal. And it's the type of fight where people who aren't boxing fans are going to be watching, which brings in a whole new audience, which is only a good thing for
Eubanks, wants to probably keep it on the outside as much as he can and use his skill sets to, use his hand speed and his ability to throw counter punches and, punches from different angles. He needs space, or space accommodates him pretty well and favors him pretty well when he has that space to do that. And I would think that Ben would like to take that space away, like to kind of work his way in and maybe go to the body like a better BF with a Bevo, take the legs away,
Backing Conor Benn, I know Conor, I spoke to him a few times, always been a top bloke to me. His dad's a top bloke, his dad's a legend, and I'll be backing him, but it's going to be difficult, as he's already alluded to, the two weight divisions coming up, but it'll also be difficult for Eubank to stay within that hydration clause, I think it is, so it's all to play for both men.
Yeah, well, it's bigger than it ever was. It's 3 times bigger than it was before the 2 positive clomiphene tests. Ben's dangerous early in that fight, in my view, because he's coming with all that stinging venom and kind of pent-up aggression that he's developed over the last 2.5 years. But I think Eubank's fought the better level of opponents, even though he's aged 2.5 years and he's been knocked out by Liam Smith.
What the circus is and what you're a fool to buy into, it's a really good fight. It's a 50-50 fight between 2 guys that are world ranked in their division. I mean, he's making out like neither of them have ever boxed before. They're both used to this. It's a mismatch. It's not. It's a 50-50 fight between 2 world ranked fighters who, by the way, fathers happen to be Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank, who had the biggest rivalry ever in British boxing, and, by the way, whose sons now have, by far, the biggest rivalry in British.
It's a tough fight for Conor. Not saying he can't win it, because one big left hook could change anything. But to me, his best chance are to try to land a big shot. If that don't happen, or if he lands it and they don't hurt Chris, then it's going to be pretty rough for him, because Chris is definitely an improved fighter. You understand me? And even the stuff he's doing now, he's going to continue to get better. But I think when he came down there with me for that year, it improved his foundation. You understand me? So it made him a better fighter. So he's going to be hard to beat for anybody, especially a guy that's smaller than him. But we saw Liam Smith pull off the upset at one time, so I know that gave Ben much more hope that he could probably do the same. So it's going to be a great fight. Both fighters are great fighters. I love both of them. I think Chris is a little bigger and has the advantage because he's bigger, but it's going to be a great fight.
You know what, a lot of people are talking about it, Roy, you know about cutting weight and whatnot. A lot of people are talking about Chris Eubank Jr. now being at 160 and maybe being tight at that weight now, but the rehydration clause, £10, I'm saying, listen, with a £10 rehydration clause in it, that won't affect him at all.
That won't affect him at all, but I don't really think Chris was big on rehydrating anyway, so I don't think he's going to get that big, you know what I mean? He might, but I don't think 10 pounds bothers him at all.
Fast forward for another light heavyweight contest going, Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol, February the 20th.
I just think Conor Benn's going to win. Too young, too fresh, and although, listen, Eubank, it took a lot for him to come back after getting viciously knocked out by Liam Smith, to come back and beat Liam Smith.
I like the ability of Eubanks when he's right, when his focus is there, when he's right, to be able to do things in a boxing way on the outside. And I love Ben's style and his approach. I do, where, being aggressive in a responsible way. In a way a fighter should be, with paying attention to, doing it with defense and responsibility of defense and, just proper way to engage somebody. But the consistent offense, looking to, to engage.
He's going to be hard to beat for anybody, especially a guy that's smaller than him. But we saw Liam Smith pull off the upset at one time, so I know that gave Ben much more hope that he could probably do the same. So it's going to be a great fight. Both fighters are great fighters. I love both of them. I think Chris is a little bigger and has the advantage because he's bigger, but it's going to be a great.
I'm looking forward to the build-up once they get the fathers involved. April the 26th. Nigel and Conor are both emotional. And Chris both play the villain, don't they?
Okay.
Even though I think in this one, Eubank Jr. is going to be able to sit back a little bit. Yeah, some people are saying that they don't think the fight means anything, but I think the bloodline in British sport.
Any man in the UK who's watched the dads fight.
I just think the fight's happening at the right time for Conor Benn. I think the fight's happening at the right time, and I favour Conor Benn in the fight.
Yeah.
I think Eubank Jr. is good for boxing. Genuinely, I think Chris Jr. is good for boxing. I think that if he was promoted by a Frank Warren or an Eddie Hearn back in the day when he turned pro, he would be an even bigger star than what he is now because of how he is. He's funny, like he's quite funny, isn't he, Eubank Jr.? He speaks well. But yeah, I think he's good for boxing, but I just think Conor Benn's going to chin it.
Very tough fight for Conor. Not saying he can't win it because one big left hook could change anything. But to me, his best chance are to try to land a big shot. If that don't happen, or if he lands it and it don't hurt Chris, then it's going to be pretty rough for him because Chris is definitely an improvement.
I think it's a great fight. I would pick Ben at the minute simply because Eubank was cracked by Liam Smith, and he was never cracked before, and it's a summary for me. He had a great chin up to then, and then he was knocked out, and it's never quite the same again. I think Ben is a more explosive fighter than Liam Smith. He's faster. He punches hard, but then a good big one will always beat a good little one, all those cliches. But I just think I would give Ben the edge. But
I just think Conor Benn's going to win. Too young, too fresh. Although, listen, Eubank, it took a lot for him to come back after getting viciously knocked out by Liam Smith to come back and beat Liam Smith.
And that's what the boxing pros think. Some believe Eubank Jr.'s size and experience will be too much, while others think Benn's speed and aggression will help him win. No matter what, this fight will be action-packed and full of drama. Both fighters have a lot to prove. Eubank Jr. wants to show he is still at the top, and Ben wants to prove he belongs at this level. This is more than just a fight. It's a battle of pride, family history, and pure heart. Who do you think will win? Will Eubank Jr.'s power be too much, or will Ben's relentless attack wear him down? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any boxing updates, fight predictions, and expert opinions. The fight is almost here, and soon we will see who was right. Get ready for an intense showdown, because when these two step into the ring, it's going to be fireworks.